In the beginning, before the prophets spoke, before the kings reigned, there were gods who ruled the waves. Among them, one name rose from the depths, a name that carried both creation and corruption. Dagon. They called him Lord of the Deep, a god of grain, of fish, of the sea, a bringer of life and harvest, yet also a power of the abyss, where light fades and monsters dwell. To the ancient Mesopotamians, Dagon was divine, a god of fertility and storms, a patron of abundance and the sea's mysterious might. But by the time his worship reached the coasts of Canaan, his image had darkened. No longer a god of life, but a god who devoured it. From the cities of the Philistines, Ashdod, Gaza, and Ekron, his name was invoked with fear and reverence. Temples rose in his honor beside the waters. Great idols carved half in man's likeness, half in fish, a symbol of dominion over both land and sea. But when the Ark of the Covenant entered his temple, Dagon fell. For in the scriptures, it is written that the God of Israel struck him down. His image shattered, his head and hands severed before the ark. The sea god could not stand before the living God. Yet the story does not end there, for Dagon's shadow lingered in the whispers of old Babylon, in the depths of forbidden texts, in the dark corners of human imagination. Some would later call him a demon of the deep, the prince of the abyss, the very embodiment of chaos beneath creation's surface. So who was Dagon truly? A forgotten god of the seas, or something far older, far darker, a power that predates man's memory of the flood? This is his story, a tale that rises from the oceans of myth and the pages of scripture alike. This is the legend of Dagon, the Lord of the Deep. To understand Dagon, we must return to the pages of ancient scripture, to the days when the Ark of the Covenant carried the very presence of the Almighty. It was in those days that the name of Dagon echoed through the cities of the Philistines, Ashdod, Gaza, and Ashkelon, coastal strongholds built upon pagan altars, where men bowed to the god of the deep. The Philistines believed Dagon to be their protector, their bringer of prosperity, the one who ruled over the harvest of the land and sea alike. His temples were vast, his idols carved in the likeness of a man merged with the sea, half flesh, half scale. But then, the ark came to Ashdod. The presence of the living God entered the temple of Dagon, and the sea god fell. When the Philistines took the ark of God, they brought it into the house of Dagon and set it by Dagon. And when the people of Ashdod arose early in the morning, there was Dagon, falling on his face to the earth before the ark of the Lord. And the head of Dagon and both the palms of his hands were broken off. 1 Samuel chapter 5, verse 2 to 4. To the priests of Ashdod, it was an unthinkable sign. Their God, prostrate before the ark of Israel's God. The head, the hands, the symbols of power and dominion, broken before the Lord. They sealed the temple in fear. They whispered that Dagon had been struck down by a greater hand, the God who commands both storm and sea. But judgment did not stop there, for scripture tells that the Lord's hand grew heavy upon the Philistines. Plague struck Ashdod, and terror filled the land. They moved the ark from city to city, but wherever it went, destruction followed. At last, they cried out, "Send away the ark of the God of Israel, for his hand is hard against us, and against Dagon our God." 1 Samuel chapter 5, verse 7. The god of the sea had fallen before the maker of the seas. The power of the abyss was no match for the voice that spoke, "Let there be light." In that moment, the illusion shattered, and the Philistines learnt what men have always forgotten, that idols made by hands cannot stand before the living breath of heaven. But even broken idols leave echoes, and the name of Dagon, though crushed beneath the weight of truth, would rise again, carried by myth and memory, to haunt the centuries that followed. Long before the name of Dagon was carved into Philistine stone, his shadow moved across older waters. From the ancient rivers of Mesopotamia, from the lands of Sumer and Akkad, his name was whispered in hymns and clay tablets. There, Dagon was not yet a monster, but a god of plenty, a lord of harvest, of storm, of the deep. His name may have meant grain, a symbol of abundance and fertility. Yet the ancients also bound him to the sea, to the mystery of the waters that gave life and took it away. For in their eyes, the ocean was both womb and tomb, the realm of gods and demons alike, and Dagon ruled its threshold. In time, his worship spread westward, from the marshes of Babylon to the coasts of Canaan. The Philistines, the seafaring people, took him as their protector, the god of the shore and the storm. In their cities, Ashdod, Gaza, Ashkelon, and Ekron, his temples rose high above the waves. Offerings were cast into the sea, and blood was poured upon the sand. To the Philistines, Dagon was both father and god. Their kings were called his sons. Their victories were dedicated to his name. Even Samson, the judge of Israel, was dragged into chains to Dagon's temple in Gaza, mocked beneath the gaze of the idol. Now the lords of the Philistines gathered together to offer a great sacrifice to Dagon their god, and to rejoice. And they said, "Our God has delivered into our hands Samson our enemy." Judges chapter 16 verse 23. But the Lord had not forgotten his servant, for in his final act, Samson pulled down the pillars of Dagon's temple, and the house of the sea god fell upon its worshippers. The temple of Dagon, the pride of Gaza, became his tomb. The sea god, once praised as a giver of life, was revealed as powerless before the hand of heaven. Yet across the centuries, the legend of Dagon would not drown. In Babylonian myths, in Phoenician tales, his image endured. Part man, part fish, a being who bridged two worlds. Some said he taught men to harvest the seas. Others whispered that he was a creation born before the flood, a watcher of the waters, a fallen power who lingered beneath the waves when the world was remade. And in later ages, his name would stir again, not as a god of grain, but as something darker, a lord of the deep, where light dies and the voices of the old world still echo in the dark. Long after the Philistines vanished into dust, Dagon's name did not fade. It sank into the depths of memory, where myth and fear entwine. And from those depths, he rose again, no longer as a god of harvest, but as a demon of the deep. In the writings of the ancients, Dagon's name reappears, in the tongues of Babylon, in the fragments of Assyria, and in the forbidden books of the medieval world. The Testament of Solomon, that grim catalogue of infernal powers, spoke of spirits of the sea who corrupted mankind, and though Dagon is not named directly, his shadow lingers in their depths. By the Middle Ages, the priests of darkness had begun to call him Prince of the Deep, a lord among the infernal hosts, the spirit ruling the watery abyss, the domain where Leviathan dwells. Early demonologists, those who dared to name the powers of hell, placed Dagon among the highest of the sea demons, one who brought storms, shipwrecks, and madness to men who sailed too far into the unknown. In the Pseudo-Monarchia Demonum, and later in the Ars Goetia, he is spoken of as a sea prince, a false god whose form is monstrous, whose throne lies beneath the waves, whose kingdom is the realm of drowned souls. And through time, his image changed again. In the dark imaginings of poets and prophets, he became the very embodiment of the abyss, a reminder of the ancient chaos that lurked before the dawn of creation. Even in modern lore, his name survives, in the stories of forbidden cults, in the writings of those who dream of things that should not be. They speak of Dagon as a titan beneath the sea, a god of the old world, waiting in the depths until the stars align once more. But the truth remains the same, whether worshipped by the ancients or feared by the modern. He is but another face of rebellion, a shadow cast by the false promise of power. The Lord of the deep is no Lord at all. Only the Creator commands the seas. Only his voice can still the storm. And so, the myths of Dagon remind us that even the mightiest idols of the earth and sea eventually sink beneath the weight of truth. Empires crumble, temples fade, yet the sea remembers. The name of Dagon may have been lost to the tongues of men, but his shadow endures, in myth, in symbol, and in the depths of human fear. Through centuries of silence, his image drifted, from scripture to legend, from ancient worship to whispered tale. Sailors once prayed before their voyages, casting offerings into the water to appease the spirits of the deep. Fishermen told of shapes moving beneath their boats, half man, half fish, watchers of the abyss who envied the breath of men. In the modern age, his name resurfaced again in the dark imaginings of poets and writers who spoke of sea cults and sleeping gods. From the ancient world of the Philistines to the airy pages of modern myth, Dagon's name became a symbol of what lies unseen, what should remain forgotten. For every empire that rises and every god man builds in his own image, the lesson of Dagon remains, that the deep hungers still, and idols, no matter how mighty, cannot withstand the truth. The idols of the nations are silver and gold, the work of men's hands. They have mouths, but they do not speak. Eyes they have, but they do not see. They have ears, but they do not hear, nor is there any breath in their mouths. Psalm 135, verse 15 to 18. Today, the ruins of Dagon's temples rest beneath the earth, silent stones by silent seas. Yet his story is not simply about a false god lost to time. It is a mirror, a reflection of mankind's endless thirst to control what belongs only to heaven. For the oceans still whisper his name, but above the storm, another voice speaks. The same voice that once said to the raging waters, "Peace, be still." And in that calm, we are reminded, the Lord of the deep was never Dagon. It was, and always will be, the Lord of hosts. For the sea remembers, but so does heaven, and its truth will never drown.